I want to welcome you to this special edition of New News Now, Channel 3.3. I'm your host, the Revelator. Now, in this episode, we're going to speak about some recent movie screenings that we participated in and held concerning Larkin Rose's new movie, Jones's Plantation. Excellent film. If you have not seen it yet, I recommend that you do that. There will be links to follow for you to be able to do that in this description below. So before we go any further, I'm going to show you the trailer for this movie because I think it's great.
You can control a man for a period with brute violence, but you cannot truly own a man unless he thinks your word is law and that he must obey, and is virtuous for doing so.
We are losing money. A little more every month that goes by with no end in sight. That consents weakness, and they are gonna smell blood like a gator to chum. They're gonna kill us both.
Mr. Scott said this man is a miracle worker. I think he can help us. You're a nit.
Good people, good people. My name is Mr. Smith. As of this very moment, you are now all free. Free at last.
From now on, we are all in this together.
This plantation will run on equality. I've created something called Jones Plantation Credits.
We're gonna keep them up to their ears in debt.
Jimmy Jack will now be in charge of our new security team to protect this plantation and to serve all of you. You two are gonna have a little contest to see who can win the hearts and minds of the human livestock out there.
Bo Jones!
Most people are weak-minded to wield the real power. You must be willing to do what most consider unthinkable.
What most people consider to be unthinkable is that men like you even exist.
That's our greatest advantage. As free people, we work together for mutual benefits. Let's not love and loyalty to Jones Plantation.
We are not free. I ain't no slave. They have tricked you into thinking that choosing your own master is the same as being free.
You offer them a truth that they don't want. They want to feel safe. There's a dark thing going on this plantation. Every man deserves freedom, but freedom isn't free.
I'm Nathaniel Jones, and I approve this message. God bless you, and God bless this glorious... Toodaloo.
Young man by the name of Corey Engelot from Liberator.us. I can hear the owls yelling in the background. They're all in on it. Nature is the answer, guys. Nature is the answer. Listen, let me tell you something. This young man, above and beyond, he's an abolitionist. From the womb, he's been an abolitionist. He talks about nature, he talks about holistics, but recently he's been organizing different types of in-person activities. Now, there's some people that know me that know that I've worked in mental health field, and I've worked in rehabilitation fields. And I've been hands-on with people on the streets, and I've been hands-on inside of facilities, hospitals, and institutions. I myself was a participant in institutions many years ago. But I want you guys to know something. Like, there's some people that think that I don't do any, like, boots-on-the-ground type work anymore. Well, I want to show you that that's not true. And I also want to show you what boots-on-the-ground work looks like for someone like me today. But in order for me to do that, in order for me to show you this special broadcast, I want to take you back in time a little bit. This is a flashback right here. So pay attention, guys, because this is good stuff. You ready?
I'm just gonna say this one time. Look, I'm trying to tell you the truth. Maybe you can't hear the truth. Maybe you can't see the truth. Maybe you don't know that the truth is unfolding all around you. But you need to take a look. You need to search alternative medias. You need to look and see what's on the news in other countries right now, because this world is on fire. And if you don't stand up as an American, as a fucking citizen of this country, of this world, if you don't stand up to do something, you ain't shit.
Yeah, so that was me on my way to my employment in 2021, the summer of 2021. I broadcasted that on all my platforms, okay? Some people think I'm a little hostile lately. And I'm just going like back in time a little just to show you guys like that's not necessarily the case. I'm not hostile lately. I've been hostile the entire time. I'm not a violent person by nature. I'm actually an instrument of the principle of care in action. But you know, like I get angry, I get upset, and you know, I like to talk about like what's real and what's not real. Unfortunately, we live in a situation where there's too many people not doing enough. Okay, so I just want to like go back in time a little bit and like show you guys some screenings of my stuff before I get into the screening of Larkin Rose's Jones's Plantation, which was an excellent movie. We had excellent reviews. I want you guys to stay tuned so that you can see what they look like. Okay, but let's just go back in time a little bit. Okay, when I first started this journey several years ago, I had a couple years clean, a couple years away from facilities, like being a patient or an inmate inside of facilities, and I was putting stuff together, and I was trying to, you know, find my way. And you know, I was working at Gaudenzia, and I was very satisfied with what I was doing at the time. I got the help. I was hands-on with a lot of people. This is like, I was real excited this day because this was my anniversary, June 18th. Okay, this was my anniversary date for not necessarily my clean time, because I actually had more time than that clean, but it was my anniversary from the day that I declared to the universe that I was going to make a difference. I was going to give back my karma, and I was going to make a difference. And I want you guys to just see the joy that I experience even now on a daily basis, like when I was helping Corey Angelot with this movie screenings and stuff. Like, this is the joy that I feel inside. I want you guys to experience this with me.
Listen, I just want to say something, man. Today's like a real special day to me, and I just wanted to share it with the entire world if I can. So the situation is this, right? Like 4 years ago, something really, really spectacular happened to me. And my life's never been the same since. So this is giving you the update. Where should I begin? Thoughts from my past, blowing in the wind. Disappointing haters, wishing for my end. 4 years ago today, I began to ascend.
Yeah.
Thanks for watching my latest post. No longer living the life of a ghost. Launching new TV now, and I'm the host. Live and direct from the East Coast, this moment now in our time and space. Ego-stopping, truth-seeking, all in one place. Yeah.
Still doing
Stay tuned because I'm going to be changing it up again.
as usual.
And you're going to see more on life before, during, and after, my friend, with positive vibes, with my deepest intent to you, my family, my loved ones, and all my friends. Hey guys, thank you so much. I couldn't have one day of my reality today without any of you.
Guys, thank you so much.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
I do appreciate it.
Oh, for those who think I ain't making it, still showing up every single day, going to my job, getting that pay. And it ain't nothing about no bank account. It's about sharing my experience and telling people what this life is really all about.
That's right. And I'm still doing that shit. Ready? So that was March 27, 2019. And I
Let's
put
see how
that
that
up.
plays.
That was March 27, 2019. That was my actual, I was wrong. It wasn't my ascension date, you know, what I labeled as my ascension date, June 18th. That was my actual clean date, anniversary from 2015. From March of 2015 until March 27th, 2015, up until that moment was 4 years. Okay. And I was celebrating. I was so happy, but I didn't express it to people inside of the building that I walked into to help in a way of, look at me now. That's not how this goes down for me. The way that this went down for me was I went in there on fire, and my intention was to set the building on fire and to let people know that there is a better way. And I'm letting you know now in this broadcast that there is a better way, guys. And I'm going to show it to you. And I'm going to keep showing it to you until they put my light out in this existence. They did it to me twice already. I've been on the other side twice already. I got one more to go at least. But until they take me, until I go, I'm going to be here, man. And I'm going to be putting on this show. So I want you guys to stay tuned, because here comes the movie premieres. What a crowd we had. What a crowd of truth-seeking, love-seeking, light-seeking, holistic, nature-seeking people who are in withdrawal from the system, who are recovering from the system. What a crowd, man. What a crowd. 2 different instances. Young man Corey Angelot, unbelievable organization skills, unbelievable organizing skills and networking skills. Okay? He hit the ground in the state of Florida running with this message. And this is the message of hope, that there is a better way. That if we return to nature and we get out of this system and we cast aside all these fears and withdrawal symptoms that we're all going through from removing ourselves from this system, that we can be happy, we can be successful, we can have unity, and we can have peace, guys. And that's what this is all about, man. The thing with Larkin Rose, man, I admire his work so much, you know, and I've talked about it in previous broadcasts, and I've spoke to many people about his work as a platform and as an opportunity to put people into a place where they can see the system for what it really is. This message in this broadcast is to bring people to that truth if they're not already there. Thanks for tuning in. If you haven't already, please like, follow, subscribe, and share. Do it right now. Don't wait, because if you wait, you'll forget. And, don't forget to drop some things in the comments. If you got any other additional resources or networking opportunities, or you have opinions, or you just want to say, hey, it was a good thing, or, if you want to reach out and contact Corey Angelot again, his link's going to be in the description. Larkin Rose and the Joneses Plantation, those links are going to be in the description. And I want to thank you guys for joining us. All right. Here we go. You ready? So these are all clips, man. These are clips from the experiences. So I hope you guys enjoy. So the first movie screening that we did, you'll see the poster and flyer up here on the screen. This was designed and organized and created by Corey Angelot. Was at Jim Gale's Food Forest Abundance at Galt's Landing in St. Cloud, Florida. Okay, and this is a little clip just to give you an idea of what type of people are involved with this movement. Okay, so we're going to play his little clip here because I want you guys to get the full picture of what's being offered when you come together and you try to organize these type of things, and the people involved and what it is, what the actual message is. It includes all these things.
This is the solution to all of the world's biggest problems. On 1/10 of an acre, there are parents feeding their whole family. How big is this circle here? It's about 20 feet in diameter. This circle, we could have 3 larger fruit trees, 40 or 50 understory plants, all your berries, your raspberries, your blueberries, your blackberries, several sections of the perennial spinaches, Okinawa spinach and longevity spinach. You could have sweet potatoes and potatoes. You could have many different types of known medicinals like turmeric and ginger and so much more. You could have all of your herbs and spices that you regularly use on this area. You could do a meal a day for your family on just this area. You add some chicken coops, now you've got a meal, at least one meal every single day for your family that will provide massive amounts of nourishment. This can be zero maintenance. We could walk away from this for 30 years, come back, and it would just be bigger and better and better.
I showed you this clip. This was actually out of my, you'll see at the top of the screen here, this was out of my episode 1010, Food Forest Abundance. Okay. You'll also, if you go and you watch that clip, you'll see a link for that at the end of this broadcast as one of the options that you can go and watch. You'll see more information about Food Forest Abundance, Jim Gale and his operation, and other content creators from the One Great Work Network that were present as well. So that's a great opportunity. It's a wealth of information, a wealth of resources, and that's the location that we were at when we shot this. So I want you guys to pay attention to that and keep that in mind for when you're done watching this particular broadcast. You know, put it in your lineup to go ahead and check in on that and the other content from the other content creators from the One Great Work Network that were involved with that. Thank you. Pair 'em up. You guys, I want to welcome everybody. Thanks for coming out, guys. It's nice to meet all of you. You all look like beautiful, shining people, man. I feel your presence. Thanks for coming out and being a part of this. Jim, thank you so much for hosting this, man. Thank you, guys. If you guys have any questions about who we are and what we do, don't be afraid to ask. None of us are shy here, I'm sure. Corey Enderlot brought a bunch of flyers and some pamphlets. We got plenty of pens and blank paper. You guys want to exchange information. I encourage you to share your businesses with each other. I encourage you to share your ideas about how we can get the message of hope and love to others. Okay?
Do this again, thank you.
I'm going to. I just want to say hi because I see people showing up. We're getting it, bro. We're getting all of it. Yeah, we're getting all of it. Yeah. But the sign up thing, you know, like anybody who wants to like exchange information, we got the pencils and paper and all. And don't feel like you got to do anything. We're just glad you came.
Right?
Nah, I think we're going to be good, man. I got plenty of room on this table. I just got to tighten everything up. That's all. I'm getting there. It's a process. I had to wait for the rain to make sure it was gone before we started playing with this stuff.
Yeah, we had to manifest those clouds away.
Keep manifesting the clouds away. Right. Hey, Corey, you said you got a laptop, right? You said you got a laptop, right?
I have a laptop, but what am I going to do?
Plug it in like that. I like that. Hold on, let me get this set up right so we got this shot correct here.
Hello?
For those that don't know, that's Corey Enderlot's mother. Very supportive of him and his work and his efforts. She was interviewing the turkeys and the animals.
I'll be honest though, right now, the account we hooked up to, my live stream on this web computer, is the Truth Music Radio. So it's gonna like live stream a movie from the Truth Radio. Is that okay?
It's fine. Put it anywhere. Put it wherever you can. I need Wi-Fi passwords written down on a piece of paper, capital letters, the way it spells numbers, everything, so that I can get it in. It was a great day in Gold's Landing. I mean, you couldn't have asked for better weather. I mean, when we first got there and started setting up, there was a little bit of rain that came down on us, but we manifested those clouds away, and they didn't return. There was no more rain, and it just worked out to be such a great event. I mean, I want to give a big shout out to Marco and his crew. They were instrumental with helping us set up the poles for the screen and helping us find where we can plug in and, you know, giving us the Wi-Fi codes and everything else that we needed. There was a lot of families that came in attendance. Members of the assembly, members of local organizations showed up. Friends of Jim, friends of Corey. I know Larkin advertised it on Eventbrite. So like it was just a huge turnout. There was kids, there was turkeys, there was chickens, there was turtles, there was dogs. And big shout out to my best loyal companion in the whole entire world, Athena. She was on location. You know, she did her best to try to stay out of my way, but she always wanted to be, she's a working dog, so she likes to be right there in the middle of everything.
So now we're probably going to be doing At the Structure Land of Plenty, because in that book, the big misstep was that Ayn Rand focused on the government being the problem. And we know that the belief in authority is the ultimate superstition. Thank you, Larkin Rose, for pointing that out so clearly. So, in the book Atlas Shrugged, though, the successful creators and manifestors of the society were compelled to leave society so the society could just collapse and everybody could do whatever they do. Most people would die, and then supposedly maybe they'd come back to society.
I mean, we had a lot of people showed up, man. It was fun, food, and fellowship, man. A lot of unity, a lot of networking was going on. It was just such a great experience to have these people come together, you know, with these common interests of freedom and, stepping away from the system and like working together. And like we gave opportunities for people to write down their businesses and advertise their businesses to one another. And we didn't have any problems technology-wise, which is like really rare, you know, in a live outdoor setting, you know, like when you're setting up stuff, you know, usually something goes wrong or something doesn't work out. And we appreciate all the efforts that were involved with everybody that showed up, man. But, you know, enough out of me. Let's hear from Larkin Rose about this movie and the different screenings that were going on around the country and hopefully the world, right?
Hey, Larkin Rose here, and guess what? It is time for the world to see the Jones Plantation. There's been a couple screenings that you had to be at in person to see it in Phoenix and then New Hampshire. But and then there was a rough cut down at Anarchapulco a while back. But yeah, the whole world is now going to be able to sign in to see this thing. And then the movie on its own is going to be for sale online, and there's going to be other screenings in Dallas and LA, and I'll give you the details of that. But it's about to be able to be viewed by people all over the world. But I thought I'd also do a video that kind of relates to that, because as you probably know, if you've heard of the Jones Plantation, it takes place on a chattel slave plantation in the American South back in the days of open slavery. And I thought a very relevant issue to both sides of the analogy, because obviously the point of the movie isn't to say slavery is bad. Like, pretty sure everybody knows that, or everybody thinks they know that. The kind of slavery they're not used to, they can all point at and go, that's horrible and dreadful and evil, and which it totally was. It's about as evil as humanity can get, is pretending to own another human being and treating them like property. But both sides of the analogy, whether you're talking about actual chattel slavery or the version we have now where you have a parasitical ruling class that robs and exploits people, both of them continued because a lot of people just viewed the institutions as, well, that's just how things are. And with the implication being, and that's how things are going to be because that's just how things are. And I've talked before about how bad people are at being objective about how things should be based on how they are. They think that, well, everybody does this, and this is what I grew up seeing everywhere. This is what I grew up surrounded by. This is what everybody I know does. And there's a whole lot of examples of that. And for every example I mention, people can get offended. Like the entire concept of schooling, if we're all gonna take our kids and stick them in an institution, like that's just an assumption now that everybody goes, well, of course you do that, because they can't imagine a world in which you didn't. Things like male circumcision in the U.S. Well, you just do that. Like, why? Isn't it sort of dreadful? Well, we're not going to think about it. We're just going to say, well, this is what you do. This is what everybody does. And I could run down the list and offend more people, but you get the point. And even if you have disagreements and say, well, no, I think this is a good idea for such and such a reason, almost nobody is having a rational discussion about a whole lot of aspects of their life. They just see, well, that's how it is, so I guess that's how it must be. And for us today, trying to imagine that being the mindset of a slave is really difficult. Like, it's easy for us to assume that, well, of course all the slaves had to know it was wrong and evil and insane and had to be like eager to overthrow the master or run away. They didn't. The victims of that even thought, a lot of them thought, well, this is just how things are, and this is legitimate, and I'm the rightful property of that guy. And if you don't believe me, you can read the autobiography of Frederick Douglass, who was a slave. And he wrote about his experiences being a slave and his own mental evolution of figuring out, this isn't okay. Now, For us, in the here and now, we have the luxury of looking back, and everyone around us recognizes, yeah, that was horrible and evil and insane and, you know, despicable, heinous, and every other negative adjective you can think of. But back then, it took a long process for someone like Frederick Douglass to realize this really isn't okay. This is not just. That guy doesn't rightfully own me. I'm not his property. I'm not obligated to work for him. And to see somebody write the experience of their own mental process going through that, it's really damn hard to relate to it now for us who've never been in that situation. But if you grew up and everyone around you told you you were the property of the plantation owner or a feudal lord or a king or whatever, you would probably believe it. And only the rare person would be able to back up and objectively go, something's horribly wrong about this. I know we're all doing this. I know this is how it's done. This is the way things are, yada, yada, yada. And I think there's something horribly wrong about it anyway. Most people aren't capable of that. And what I really hope the Jones Plantation helps a lot of people do, like today, it's not a challenge to make people go, yeah, I think slavery was wrong. Like, okay, duh, almost the whole world has figured that out. Although there is still slavery going on, but at least most of the Western world understands that that's horribly evil and nasty. And the people who still do that trading have to do it quietly because most of the world recognizes that's evil. They didn't used to have to do it quietly because most of the world was like, well, that's how it is. And it wasn't even a racial thing, and it wasn't like it was everywhere. It was most of the planet, people were owning other people in like all directions, nationalities and races and religions, and like it didn't matter. It was going in all directions all over the place. That was the norm. That was the way things were. And it took a long time before some weirdo freak fringe human being said, yeah, I know that's the way things are, but I'm pretty sure it's not the way things should be. And at the time, that was radical and weird and outside of the box and fringe for anybody to say, maybe people shouldn't own other people. And now we can say, that's so self-evident and obvious. Why was that a debate before? Well, what I hope the Jones Plantation is going to do is help people start that first step on the journey where they look back on what we have now and they think the same thing. They think, how did anybody ever think this was okay and legitimate? You have a bunch of political parasites and they rob us and boss us around and tell us that we're bad people if we disobey, regardless of what their commands are. If we don't pay enough tribute to them and we don't obey every stupid, random, arbitrary whim of the political parasites, most people are just, well, that's how it is. That's law and order. That's our system. That's democracy or republic or whatever. That's what we learned in civics class. That's how it works. And the ability of normal people to say, okay, if that's how it works because there's a reason and there's like a rational basis, then it's okay to back up and examine it and question it, because if there's actually a rational reason for it, and if it's legitimate and moral and all that, you can explain why, and you can test it and study it and go, yeah, okay, that makes sense. We should be doing that. But if you back up and say, well, let's dare to question this and see if it actually makes sense. A lot of people, including myself and, tens of thousands of people I know who are now voluntarists, backed up and said, yeah, I know this is how things are, but is it how things should be? And then going through a pretty dang simple logical process with the most basic moral and philosophical concepts and principles, and realizing that's not at all okay. That's not how things should be. It's not legitimate. It's not moral. And the thing is, the fact that today the slavery isn't like you're chained to a tree or you're like forced to go pick cotton and then whipped if you don't hand over enough to the master. Like, okay, we're not brainwashed in that particular way to think we're obligated to put up with that crap. People were in the past, and they were trained to think that that is legitimate and just, and they're obligated to go along with that. But there's a different kind of slavery that's actually way more productive for the beneficiaries of the robbery. It also happens to be a lot more physically comfortable. Like, you pick the average taxpayer, if they had to choose between picking cotton in the field for 12 hours in the blazing sun and then occasionally getting whipped and just barely getting enough to stay alive, between that and what they have now, most people say, yes, this is lots better. It is a whole lot less overtly evil and horrendous suffering than that. Yeah, that's true. And nobody's saying that they equate in degree of nastiness. But what I hope the Jones Plantation is going to do, and what I hope like almost everything I work on is going to do, is make people say, yeah, but what about the underlying principle? Like, for example, if back in slave days they said, okay, 6 out of the 7 days, you own yourself and you can do what you want, but on Monday, you have to come in and work for the master and do whatever he says, and you don't get paid and you get whipped if you don't do it. But the other 6 days is fine. Like, in principle, is that any better? Like, well, it's better in the other 6 days they're not getting abused, but you're still getting abused once a week. That's still not okay for the exact same reason, because in principle, it would still be slavery. The fact that it's 1/7 of the time instead of all the time, that doesn't make the principle go away. In fact, even if you said, oh, I'll only enslave you for like an hour every Monday, like, yeah, that's still totally evil and wrong and immoral, even though on a practical sense, that would be a lot less horrible than, 12 hours a day every day. Oh, you're only enslaving me that much? Guess what? In principle, that's still just as wrong and just as immoral and just as illegitimate, even if the person you're doing to suffers a whole lot less than the one who may be enslaved 24 hours a day. But to see those principles and say, this much slavery is bad and this much slavery is bad for the same reason, that requires being able to like ponder actual philosophical concepts and actually question things. And that's the focus of pretty much everything I do, including the Jones Plantation. And now it's out, and I want lots and lots of people, normal people, who watch it. I've mentioned before, I think this is going to happen in 2 waves. First of all, lots of pro-freedom people are going to watch it and go, oh, that was awesome, it was so cool to see that, and rah, 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 and yay. And then the second phase is to have all those people go, now we need the rest of the world to see this and see what they think about it. And then I want to see the rest of the world see it, or as many people as possible, obviously, and have them go, yeah, is it really okay what's going on? Like, fundamentally, the underlying principles, not, well, should we have a slightly nicer master? Because the movie points out why that isn't really the question that matters. And to get people to actually look at the underlying assumptions that they've never questioned, and the premise and the way things are, and to actually look at the foundation of the way things are when it comes to government and law and taxation and politicians and bossing people around and robbing everybody, to have people even begin to glance at that and go, is that really okay? Like, is this really legitimate? Is this how humanity should be organized and arranged? And I think this movie is going to kick a bunch of people in the pants and make them take that first step in questioning things. And I've talked before about how that first step is the most important step. Was for a hell of a lot of people I know, and you can probably say the same if you're a voluntarist, about the other voluntarists you know, as soon as somebody starts to question things, and most of us have, like, remember that. It's like when we caught, wait a minute, is this okay at all? And then once they start down the proverbial rabbit hole, they take themselves the rest of the way. Then they're curious and they read stuff and they watch stuff and they think about stuff. But that first step, like, and again, I'm not comparing the degree of nastiness, but in principle, to compare it to a slave, the first day he goes, why am I obligated to work for that guy? I mean, I know they say he owns me, but I'm a person, right? And he's a person. Like, how does he own me? Why don't I own him? Or why don't I own me and he owns him? Like, the moment somebody's brain starts to look underneath the way things are and the system as we have it and, all that just meaningless drivel, and says, is this right? That is the first step to that person becoming free. And to read, I highly recommend the autobiography. It's actually sort of a collection of the works of Frederick Douglass, to watch somebody's journey through that process. It's amazing. And it's hard to relate to now because we think, well, wasn't this obvious to all of them? No, it wasn't. Just like today, there's a bunch of horrible things going on, and it's not obvious to the people going along with it that it is foundationally illegitimate. They just think, well, we don't have the best master, and he isn't always all that nice to us, but if we just had the right one and he worked us only at certain hours out in the cotton fields, but to be able to question the underlying principle, that is the thing that matters. And I think this movie, The Jones Plantation, is going to nudge a hell of a lot of people who watch it. Normal people who've never even thought about this stuff, going to nudge them into thinking, wow, is our whole system actually based on some bogus assumptions and premises? Not just the details on the surface, but looking underneath, is this really okay? Is this legitimate? And once they start that journey, for the vast majority of them, there's no turning back. So anyway, I'm really dang proud of how the movie turned out. The vast majority of that wasn't my doing. I wrote the script, which I'm pretty dang proud of, and then the script changed a million times, and I wasn't even the only one who wrote the script. Guy who played Jones Plantation helped out with parts of it, and director Andrew Treglia did a bunch of parts of it. So that wasn't even entirely mine. And I wasn't the one who made it into a movie, but I'm really dang proud of how it's turned out, and I'm dying to see the effect it has on the rest of the world. First, I want to see the pro-freedom people go, whoa, this is awesome, which a bunch of people who were at the first two screenings said. But then I want to see how it hits the rest of the world and helps the rest of the world to start to question the way things are and say, maybe the way things are is fundamentally not the way things should be. And I mean, it's easy to say, but obviously that would be a momentous occurrence for humanity as a whole to actually back up and look at the underlying assumption of the way society is structured with authoritarian hierarchies and ruling classes and governments and say, is that legitimate? So anyway, if you want to be among the first to see this thing, online on August 5th, we are going to release it to the planet. And below is the link to sign up and do that thing, which will include our before and after virtual parties with me and the director and some other people, and having a fun little chat and answering questions and all that. And then after that, it'll be available to purchase online with the movie just by itself, and we'll have other screenings, and I'll tell you about all the other details of everything else. Like we're unleashing this thing as fast as we possibly can in as many ways as we possibly can, but our budget is like almost nothing, so it's been a challenge and there have been delays and stuff. But August 5th, that is now written in stone, it will be released to the world. And if you want to be among the first to see it, then check out the link below. Yeehaw. And by all means, invite other people over to watch it. And whether they're people already on the same page, people who don't know anything about it, arch enemies, friends, I don't care. I want everybody to see this. So join our giant virtual launch party, which is not just limited to the US. Wherever you are, sign up and be a part of the release of The Jones Plantation at long last.
So I couldn't have said it better myself. I mean, that's right from the horse's mouth. Lark and Rose, man. What a great production. What a great, man. What a great effort and work. Yeah, we're in modern day slavery, guys. I participated in this and assisted Corey and most of the people that showed up and most of the people that were involved with this production and everything for the screening, and the host, Jim Gale. Like, we all have the same philosophy as far as any slavery's slavery, no matter what level it's on. So we're about to get started. You'll see that we introduced the movie, and then we're going to jump on over to the other location. And thanks for tuning in, guys. Please stay tuned. So when I was running around, promoting a thing called the Principle of Care, my best friend in this entire world, his name's Robert Akoff. He operates a business called Perseverance.tech, and he was running around promoting something called the Principle of Perseverance. And we come in and we handle situations with clean outs, trash outs, debris removal, property maintenance, and roof tarping, professional roof tarping. So people that are damaged from the storms and the weather modification programs and all the different things going on, guys. Here's our commercial. Thanks. So as these natural disasters occur throughout the regions, I try to do my part. I'm involved with Bob Akoff. We operate something called perseverance.tech, and we utilize all of our experience and years of experience for Bobby, a couple years for me, when it comes to, you know, disposal of waste, debris. Maybe some type of storm came through and wiped out some trees, or you have lots of extra debris on your property, or you need something, you know, removed, you know, and you're not sure how to do it. Like, we give out advice, we give out free estimates, and we provide expert services. We've worked for realtors, banks, REO property owners, private owners. We do all kinds of clean out and trash out services, but the one that I want to focus on right here is we also provide this service here, which is like really important when you have a hole in your roof. To prevent any further damage, you need to have your roof tarped immediately. You'll see here we arrived and there was a previous tarp on the roof that had to be removed, and there was debris around the property that we had to clean up as well. So here's our commercial. If anyone else has anything that they want to also advertise or discuss their businesses, or any kind of cooperations or nonprofits you may have, or any other business activity you want to offer to the group, please do so, guys. Yes, sir.
Really close, okay. Hey, my name is Marcos Lopez here in Osceola County, promoting food installs, food installations, food forest abundance, permaculture style. If you are inspired here by what you saw in Gold Landing and looking to get an install, I'm going to leave the flyer here for y'all with food forests everywhere. Thank you.
Good afternoon, evening, good evening to everyone. My name is Greg Woolley, and I am chairman of the board of Florida Recovery Schools in Central Florida. We help young people struggling with addiction issues. If you know any young people that are having those kind of issues, we help children 14 to 19 years old to be educated away from the typical peer pressure, so they might recover and find new ways of living.
Do you have a website or a way to get?
www.floridarecoveryschools.centralflorida.org.
Thank you, brother. Thank you for doing I've been talking the whole time, so I'm good. This is everybody else's time. Thank you all for being here. We're going to show a movie that I've been wanting to see for quite a while, since it came out. And in fact, I think Corey, we helped set this up. I think he'll be doing more of talking about it. So thank you all for being here, everybody.
Did anyone else have anything they wanted to share?
Yeah,
Listen, for the people that don't know, my name's John Penuel, and my friends call me St. John. I got the name because I was running around the streets of Philadelphia in a limousine that I named Angel, that was a recovery house name for a nonprofit that I was running. I was trying to help people. But one thing that I learned along the way is that people had to help themselves. You know, there's a couple of books out there that says something about moving mountains, but you got to bring a shovel in order to do that, guys. And I'd like to see that everybody showed up here tonight and they brought their shovels. Now, Corey was a little worried if I would be able to hold the audience a little bit when I was introducing this movie and talking about what we're doing here. But I want to thank Jim Gale, Galt's Landing, and Atlas Shrug, and Larkin Rose, and Jones Plantation, and the members of the assembly that are here, our brothers and sisters, our families, I want to thank you guys for coming out and bringing your shovels. You know what I'm saying? Because this is what it's going to take. It's going to take us getting together and doing this, because we cannot rely on this system any longer, as we've seen time and time again. I'm not going to turn this into a crazy discussion about what's going on. We all know that there's a lot of evil in this world, or bad, whatever you want to call it. But I want you guys to know that there's a lot of good in this world too. Corey said, I don't know if you can do it, John. There's going to be a lot of people there. It's all these different kinds of people. I said, Corey, I ran groups in a psychiatric hospital. I mean, come on, like, how hard is it going to be for me? I mean, if you can hold down a psych ward and make them smile and laugh and grow a little and shine your light, I'm sure you can hold on to some of these freedom-loving, liberty-loving, nature-loving people that are in equality and liberty. I want to thank you guys for coming out here. You know, there's a little bit of doom and gloom on the horizon, but we can cast that aside through our love of each other and humanity and freedom. And I want to thank you guys for coming out. I want to thank Corey Enderlot from Nature is the Answer, NITA.1, and his family for being supportive of what he does. I want to thank my best friend in this entire world. He's like a brother to me. His name's Bob Akoff. He's been riding this road with me for a long time now. We operate a business right now. I used to work in rehabs and psychiatric hospitals, but I had to give that up and resign because of mandates. I stood for something, and I wasn't going to sit down anymore. And Bob's been riding with me for a long time. His business is called Perseverance.tech. We do clean-outs, trash-outs, roof tarping, professional roof tarping if it's damaged from the storms or anything else that goes on. I know you guys are here, and it's a great event. It's like a family reunion almost. We haven't seen each other in a long time. I'm glad that we're all here. I want to thank Jim Gale for allowing us to do this, guys. Let's give him a hand.
Corey, you got anything you want to say? Come on, Corey. You put this thing together.
No, I didn't. No.
Oh, yeah.
My name is Scott Fellaini. I love Jim Gale. Give it up for Jim Gale. I love what he's doing here. And I know you guys are ready for the movie, but I just wanted to introduce myself. My wife and I have a company where we vote with our dollars, and we teach people like you how to vote with our dollars and stop shopping at big box stores, publicly traded companies. We manufacture over 460 products made in America that are greener, cleaner, and less expensive than the big box stores. Less expensive than Sam's Club.
And delicious.
And they're delicious. So get with me after the movie. I'd love to share more.
And wait, buddy. He just tell him what you did in the last 6-8 months.
So I was morbidly obese for most of my life. Probably 6 months ago, I weighed 345 pounds. And I felt convicted or inspired to change. And so I went on a long-term fast, and I fasted for 115 days with no food. I consumed under 40 calories a day or zero for over 115 days. I lost 120 pounds, and it radically changed my life. And so I got 4 kids, and I want to be around for a long time. I got a beautiful wife. I'm 52 years old, and so fasting radically changed my life.
Yes, brother. That is.
Thank you.
Yes.
Come on, guys. Don't be shy. You're amongst family here. If he's got something you want to say, man, now's the time. Come on, bro. Tell us something. We want to hear your voices.
Most of you guys don't know me, but I'm Steven. Hello, Justin. My friends call me Solar Steve. I like what man Scott said about voting with your dollar. Utilities are one of the last monopolies. If you want to stop paying them every month and want to lock in your price, there's a lot of people have a lot of questions about solar. Some people think you have to buy them. That is not the case. There are a lot of programs where you can go solar and not buy the panels at all. There's other companies that are willing to buy them for you if you don't qualify for the tax credit and different things. So if anybody has questions on how they can live, more sustainable. I give a free fruit treat for everyone that goes solar with me, and I guarantee, to be at least 3,000 less than any other quote you get. So hopefully that's incentive for you guys.
It's awesome. It's the real deal. Yeah. Get a hold of Steven behind the off-road.
Do you have your card? Yeah, you can show your card. Yeah, share your card with us, please.
We just want to apologize because we're just waiting for the light to go down, guys. If anyone else has anything they want to say.
Hi, I'm Jeff. I'm with Save Our Soil. I want to thank Jim for inviting us out here today, and I want to thank Mike for introducing me to Jim last week. I went to Mike's house. It's something everybody can do themselves at their home. They don't have to have a piece of property as big as Jim's. You can do it on a quarter acre, you can do it on whatever. I have raised beds in my house, and I grow different plants. And I use my worm castings. I got worms in my beds and all that. But we'll come do a demonstration at a school, anywhere, for free. And when we leave, usually if they're at the school, we'll leave a worm farm behind to teach the kids to start composting and putting things together. So I just want to thank Jim again for having us out here tonight.
Buddy, what you're doing is so important. Thank you. Thank you all.
All right. All right. So I want to thank also Marcos and wherever Marcos is. Where's Marcos? Marcos, yeah, you're awesome. He really helped with bringing things together. And Cameron, right, and everybody else. Thanks, Carlos. You guys are like family, so they all like work together really well. So thank you for that. So it's not just Jim, it's everybody. Right? There's so many people. It's awesome. So just thank you for that and welcome. So enjoy the movie. Just get on. Let's go.
Yes. Thank you, Larkin Rose. Anybody getting shot by mosquito? No.
What's going on? Wow.
What is going on?
Bill Gates
Yeah, right? There might be, and if anybody's got some good organic stuff on, don't ever put that other stuff on.
No.
Boom, boom.
So I told you guys I was bringing solutions in these broadcasts, and as you can see, we had a whole lot of solutions lined up inside of this thing. So I want you guys to get over there and visit Corey Engerlot, the organizer of these events. And I want you to stay tuned for part 2, the second screening that we did. Okay, it's coming soon. So Corey Engerlot's at nita.1 or deliberator.us. You can visit all my work at thelostprinciple.com. And I want you guys to get over there right now and check out this this website. You'll be able to purchase the movie, okay? And you can share this website on your social media platforms. And let's get the word out on this, okay? The word on the plantation, see? Let's get that word out there. It feels very familiar, very familiar. Great job, guys. And again, if you haven't already done so, please like, comment, subscribe, follow, and share this information with all of your friends and family. Thank you.